A child stands at the edge of a forest, in awe at the sunlight slanting through ancient trees, wondering where the light ends, and what lies within the shadows. What if that forest had no edge, and the sun never set? Would mystery, and therefore meaning, still reside there? So it is with death, the boundary that shapes the story of every human life. To imagine digital immortality is to picture a world where consciousness flickers not in fragile bodies, but within the undying circuitry of machines, a world where a copy of your mind, your memories, and perhaps your very sense of self, could be perpetuated indefinitely. At first, the promise seems dazzling. We might say, goodbye, to grief and fear, to the pain of goodbyes, to the sorrow of knowing all beauty is temporary. Some dream of endless possibility, time to pursue every curiosity, love anew 1,000 times, witness the centuries unfold, and perhaps, never need to say farewell. But something inside us hesitates. Even as we chase longevity, we cradle our mortality like a precious secret. Death, in truth, is the ultimate punctuation, a full stop that gives every word its purpose. The philosopher Martin Heidegger saw human existence as a being toward death. He argued that our awareness of finitude forces us to live authentically, to make choices with weight, and to feel urgency in the face of a closing door. If that door is removed, if our days unspool with no conclusion, do our choices still matter? Or do they evaporate in the infinity of options? Religions, too, have wrestled with this paradox. Across traditions, death is both an ending and a transformation. Christianity frames it as passage to another life, Buddhism as a pivotal moment on the wheel of rebirth, ancient Greeks spoke of crossing the river Styx to a realm where judgment awaits. These rituals and visions push us to reflect, not only on how we die, but how we should live. Without an ending, can there be a narrative at all, or do we become trapped in endless preface, a book without its final chapter? Consider the small moments that define a life, the friend you might never have spoken to were it not for one last chance. The passion pursued because you feared you'd regret not trying. The apology given because there might not be another day. The preciousness of limited time, or scarcity, as economists would say, creates value. Take away that scarcity, and what becomes of love songs, goodbyes, and the urgency that compels us to leap into the unknown? Viktor Frankl, a survivor of the Holocaust, argued that life's meaning emerges directly from its ephemeral nature. Meaning springs forth from the fact that every moment is unique, unrepeatable, and soon to be lost. If digital immortality arrives, perhaps death is postponed, not abolished. Even if our minds persist, would we not someday tire, long for release, or for transformation of another kind? The ancient myth of Tithonus warns us here, granted eternal life but not eternal youth, he withered into despair, yearning for the mercy of death. Endings, it seems, are as vital to story as beginnings. Some might counter that we could carry meaning across endless years, finding new purposes, evolving endlessly. Humans are nothing if not adaptable. Yet, we are also narrative creatures, thriving on arcs, seasons, and the sense of passage. If time becomes a flat circle, and novelty an infinite resource, will our joys become indistinguishable from our ennuis? Or will immortality breed a kind of existential apathy, a weariness, not from living, but from living too long? There is another dimension. If we are uploaded, preserved, or reconstructed in code, is it truly us who persists, or only a brilliant shadow, a digital echo? Death, for millennia, has returned us to mystery, to transcendence. The theologian Paul Tillich called death the boundary of finitude, the point where we are forced to encounter the absolute, be it God, nothingness, or whatever comes after. Digital survival may only extend the known, denying us that final, essential encounter with the unknowable. Perhaps, ultimately, the question is not whether death will retain its meaning, but whether meaning itself demands an ending. To write meaning into life is to accept its limits. The boundaries of a canvas give form to the painting, the space between notes makes music possible. So too, perhaps, does mortality give sharpness to everything we cherish. If we someday race beyond the mortal coil, chasing eternity among silicon and stars, maybe we will discover that the gift of death was not simply its finality, but the way it etched meaning into every fleeting breath. It is in endings that beauty glows brightest, and in mystery that wonder is born. So standing at the threshold between light and shadow, we might ask, if the forest never ends, will we learn to see in the darkness, or forget how to see at all?